Hello all, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how I created this Apple style liquid glass effect. So yeah, let's get started. If we take a close look at this effect, this is basically we have a background and then we have a shape which distorts the background, and this effect is made of just two main elements. One is the distortion and one is this outside kind of stroke kind of layer which makes it looks like a reflection on top of the distortion. So these are the two elements that makes this effect. Let's move on and let's look into the Houdini scene file. So this is the entire network which is responsible for this effect, and this is like entirely procedural, so you can change the image underneath and the effect should work, something like that. You can put any image and it should work for that image. So yeah, so that is how it is set up. And you can also change the shape of the button, which is here. So you can change the shape to however you like. You can even change the shape itself to circle or anything other than the rectangle. It still is going to work. One thing is I haven't linked the size of the text to match the shape, but yeah, you can do it. But in this video, like we are just having this text, you have to manually adjust the text in here. So yeah, let's put this back to rectangle and let's have the corners to be rounded. I like the rounded corners much better because that's how the actual Apple liquid glass effect is there in iPhones. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. Let's see. I'll just take you straight to the main node that is responsible for the distortion, which is the refract from height node. So this is the node which is the core of this entire setup, and the others are just adding on top and just feeding it some data. So yeah, I'll color this to a different color just to show you that this is the main node. Yeah, let's take a close look at the refraction from height. So as the name suggests, it takes a height mask, which is a mono or just a float value. So you can see this is the value that I've connected here, and we have a normal input which is telling which direction each pixel is facing. So these are the two inputs that this height refract from height cop needs, and it uses that those two information to kind of create this fake refraction effect. And we also have this ground and environment map inputs. I'm not sure like how to use the ground, to be honest, but the environment map, this is used to create reflections on top of this element. So you can connect a HDRI and you can like play with that to get some reflections on top of it. But in this setup, I have turned off the reflection completely, and I have only enabled the refractions from this node, and we are adding the reflection kind of layer on top, which is this outer edge, which completes the effect basically. So it creates the illusion of 3D, so it gives you more of a solid object look. So I added this layer on top of this refract from height node. So yeah, let's see what gets fed into this, and let's see how the shape is like made of. The shape is just an STF shape node, as I showed you earlier. You can change the shape to anything, and we are extracting 3 different masks out of the same STF from shape node. One is the solid fill, and one is the fall off from the center to the outwards, and the other one is just the outline of the whole element basically. So yeah, those are the 3 masks that we export from the STF shape node, and this STF shape node itself is connected to the animation control here. So this is just a transform 2D node which has the animation on the y-axis here. It can just be a null, and just with a single parameter you can control, but I just quickly dropped it and connected to the translate, so that I exactly know this value controls the translation without having to manually create those. So this value, the same transformation animation. So if I open the graph editor, this is the animation. So this animation is connected to the translation of the STF shape, and this is also connected to the font node. So if I go back to the flipbook, so that is how all of them moves together. So the same animation curve drives both of the background shape, the shape and the text within it. So that's how everything moves together, and it's also connected to the ramp, which I'll come back to this in a little bit. So yeah, those are the three elements that we have here, and this solid is being processed here to get something like this. So this map controls how much distortion that we need on the image. So wherever this is black, so wherever this is black, there is no effect of this node, and wherever this is white, that is where the distortion is high. I'll go back here. So you can see this blur node is what controls the fall off of the distortion. So we can adjust this to kind of increase the fall off. If I visualize it back to the refract from height node, so you can see it grows the amount of distortion that we have. By analyzing the reference, I found the Apple style liquid glass is having distortion only around the edges, like it's very close to the edges. It doesn't distort anything inside the screen. So I just try to follow the same reference. So I kept it around 2, which works for me. And I used this invert node to invert the image and multiply it with the original this solid fill. So you get something like this. So if I increase the blur, it just fills in only inside the shape. So that is how I created this mask for controlling the height value. And this is just a regular height to normal node, which is just connected to the soft fall off that we have created here. I've just used a blur node to just get rid of the harsh line around the corners and the center. So it is still there, but since we are just excluding this area, we are only using around this area, so it doesn't matter even if it is like very pointy like this. So if you want more softer look, you may need to increase this blur, something like that. But this just tells which direction each pixel is facing. So these areas facing this side and these areas are facing this side. So this map is telling that particular detail to the refract from height to kind of fake the distortion effect. So yeah, those are the two inputs that we are feeding into the refract from height node, and this is the third one which we are adding on top of this whole effect. So yeah, let's see how this is made. This is just a simple outline, so you can use the outline width to control the width, and you can also use the offset if you want to create this a little bit away from the button, but just keep it to 0 if you want to be like perfectly around the edges of the button. So yeah, and then I have connected it to the ramp. So this is just connected as a size reference, so it doesn't do anything, but it just helps you to keep the ramp to fit to any input that you pass. So yeah, that's why I have connected it to the set reference, and we are just creating a loop of ramps, a cycle of ramps in other words, and then we are just multiplying that with the stroke that we have. So if I put a null here, you can see this is just clean stroke, and then we are multiplying this ramp to get something like this. So in case if I animate this position, so currently this position is controlled by this animation control, so that it moves along with the whole rig basically. So the button, the text, and this ramps move together. So that is why it is connected to the start position and end position. But yeah, if you want, you can just break this and you can manually animate this. You can just move this to create this sleek moving reflection effect, but I just connected it to the original animation so that it stays intact with what is happening to the main shape. So yeah, that is just how I created this, and I have just added it on top of the button. So without this and with this, you can see there is a whole lot of difference. This layer adds a lot more realism than like just having just the distortion. So yeah, that's how this button element is made. And then we have this text, which is just connected with the over mode using the blend node, which gives you this effect. So you can ask me why this node here. Because I can't connect this mono directly to this, which will just create this, which will just replace the entire background and put on top. Because this doesn't have an alpha channel, it just have just a single mono value, which this node treats it like RGB, and that's why you don't see anything in the background. So to fix that, I used mono to RGBA node. So I connected both inputs to the output of the font node. That gives me the same look, but it just now we have alpha channel, which cuts out anything out other than the text. So that if you connect it to the FG, it will just merge properly. So yeah, that is how the entire effect is made of. But if you are sticking until this point, I'm going to show you some bonus tricks. So we have some few nodes here. I haven't touched that. So now let's see what that does. So this is the blur node, which is again this is used as a mask. So if I enable it, and let's go back to the output. So if I increase the blur, you will get this frosted glass look, so which is pretty cool. So this is also there in their UI element. Like some of the buttons have this kind of effect, and some of the other panels have fully transparent like this. You can also I think in their UI there is some preferences to adjust the frost as well, so that you can see the text clearly. So yeah, you can adjust that settings using the blur node, but I like the fully transparent version for this particular effect, so I just disabled it. But just in case, if you want, you can enable it, and you can just increase the value as per your needs. So yeah, that is a bonus for you. And also there is this color correction node, which you can use to tint the glass itself. That is pretty cool to have. You can see you can feed any color, and you can tint using any color. That it looks like a separate floating button as soon as you have those color tint applied on top. Yeah, this is also one of the bonus I wanted to give you. So thanks for sticking until the end, and if you want to support me, you can just subscribe to my channel, or you can also buy me a coffee using the link below. And if you want this file, it's completely free to download. You can download using the links below. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one.